So those shelves up there seem to be a little bit of a mess, but the important thing is that I, of course, have Ultron, the only part of Disney Infinity I care about for Marvel characters, as well as, of course, my Chase variant of Silver Dynarang. Earth and Avenger would be proud. That being said, they're a bit of a mess. Skylanders are there, and that's what matters. And what also matters is that this video is at long last coming to an end. It's been quite an endeavour, but I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and the next vlogging video will actually be starting right here, so you will not be seeing me going anywhere between episodes. Yo guys, I've got a spark which I'm going to use to ignite the fire for a brand new vlogging episode here on the channel. So naturally, in the previous episode, as you saw from the flashback, I promised you all that I'd be kicking off this here episode, the 40th one in fact, right here at Loughborough. So clearly I'm living up to that, and what's going to be happening here is that I have to be travelling back to Lincoln to study for my film production course at the university down there, but along the way, rather than take a train direct from Loughborough to Lincoln, I'm going to take a bus up to Nottingham, pick up a few things along the way, film because that's just the joy of vlogging, and then we're going to finish things off at Lincoln. So yes, we have Nottingham as the stop in between as I travel from Loughborough to Lincoln today, so hence why we got to start here so we can finish somewhere else. That's how travelling works. You got to get to point B after having started at point A, and this is point A. I can't emphasise this enough. I'm repeating all this to even put emphasis on the very thing I'm repeating. After all, that's repetition for effect, and everything the effect being to put emphasis on the thing I am repeating, including repetition in and of itself, can be emphasised upon through repetition. Yes, I just went there. So along the way to the bus stop, I found this here cash generator store, and inside its window what catches my eye is not Skylanders unfortunately, but instead a Scuff Impact PS4, which seems pretty expensive, but whose thing's brand new or at least double that price. And what's so fascinating about it is that these right here are the kind of controllers that I will test when I'm working at Scuff Gaming down here at Loughborough. So yeah, very interesting to see the pre-owned store of all things, a controller which I would usually test brand new. So here I stand opposite the Cineworld as always, waiting on the number 9 Nottingham bus to arrive. I've got quite a wait because it's barely even on the board yet, a board which, because of how cameras and light works, you cannot even see. But trust me, the number 9 of Nottingham is up there, and I will see you once I actually get on said bus. It's going to be a lot longer for me than it is for you guys. Like for you, it's literally going to be a cut, whereas for me I had to wait 20 minutes for this thing to show up. So yeah, let's get going on our adventure to Nottingham without further ado. One other thing, this whole every 30 minutes thing, it's a lie.
So that was a fucking lie.
I hope you enjoyed that smooth transition back into my live commentary here as we check out some works going on down the canal, which means we're here at our usual spot, getting off the bus right opposite the train station, which is of course back that way. So I'm going to be heading towards Victoria Into, straight ahead of me, only to wind up looping back around again to head back down here. So very much back and forth on a Nottingham trip today, but I'm still looking forward to it all the same. Rather than carry straight on like you saw from the shot beforehand, I'm instead going to loop around the side, which means that I can approach Nottingham Castle even up that way. Apologies for stutter, I'm just really excited for that Robin Hood statue that stands right outside the castle. So let's get to it. As always, it's pretty cool under the bridge. First of all, you've got that magnificent piece of art, and then you've got, of course, this, which magnificence doesn't even begin to describe it, should I say. So there are the castle walls, and then here is the Robin Hood statue up close and personal. Perhaps a little bit too up close and personal. I should probably give this guy and his stash right there that I was up close against a bit of a personal space type thing. But regardless of all that, this statue is magnificent, very well made, very heavy, because I couldn't lift it, and I can normally lift very heavy things, so that just exemplifies how heavy I guess the statue is. Regardless, it's well made. There's a great expression upon Robin Hood's face, looking very heroic. And I just admire the attention to detail within it. So this hill right here, pretty standard. Not steep, nor slight. Standard hill all the same. How do I know? Well, that's literally its name. Yeah, whenever it comes to hills, they are not subtle with a name. This one's Standard Hill, and of course, for Steep Hill at Lincoln, which is incredibly steep, well, they call it Steep Hill. So yes, subtlety when it comes to naming hills, right out the window, indeed. Not this window. These windows seem to be quite prestigious in condition. Except for that little bit there. Otherwise, prestigious, most certainly. So I approached the top of a Standard Hill only to be greeted by this magnificent building right here. Love how well that's been constructed. So yes, we are going to be taking a right here, heading towards the Victoria Into, that place of which I will see you there. Clearly this location right here has to be cursed, because the last time I was here, this was a One Below, where we managed to find the Shipwreck Islands out of nowhere for £1, brand new and everything. Well, this one too is also closing down, same as that One Below, so the only obvious explanation is for one where this location is cursed all the same. Now enough of all this, there's game right there, which means CX must be opposite. Let's get to it. Just like that, we have reached the CX of Victoria Into, so let's go inside and check out what we got. So here's a starting shot of where all the Skylanders at the CX Nottingham seem to be located, but they're all the way down at the bottom, so it seems as though I need to kneel, as I always do. So right off the bat in this corner we have, of course, Bone Bash Roller Brawl, Golden Queen, but more impressively for the senseis you got Buckshot, and there's Doonberg, Free Ranger, Stink Bomb, just an absolutely mad mix of characters, including Nitro Crypt King, which is an incredible find. Even more Golden Queens a good measure, T-Rexes too, and Swarms to boot. It's just a true sign of a Skylander selection when you see a Swarm. It's not a Skylander selection without one. So there it is in its entirety once more, and it's about time I finish with this shot because kneeling down is really becoming painful at this point. Thank you for nothing, you useless bus. That being said, I have now even escaped the Victoria Into, as you could tell, so naturally we're going to be continuing this way, right, where all the crowd seems to be congregating, so yeah, let's get to it. I love crowds. So what we have here, first and foremost, is a tree, but then once we pull our focus, you'll see we are indeed at the city centre, looking quite barren. It usually does outside of holidays and all that, plus with a particular COVID-19 pandemic happening in the world right now, it wouldn't make as much sense to encourage crowds around here now, would it? But yes, there it is, the city centre in its entirety, trams and all sorts. But we're going to be heading in this general direction towards the glory that is CEX. Also we have, as always, the lions atop their perches remind me of the Lion King, and I have no problems with that whatsoever. I did just recently pick up a PlayStation 5 and I noticed this awesome game on the shelves. It's definitely justified for the higher price, so I'm going to be picking it up because, as I said earlier, it's a damn good game, so why wouldn't I do exactly just that? They really decorated this shortcut through the Broadmarsh. As we go through by Alice Ashley, we have all of these awesome photographs, and my apologies, I'm so close, that's what happens when crowds are all around you, but these are absolutely magnificent. I'd be so proud if I got anywhere close to this level of photography even. was about to say cinematography then, not that there's too many differences between the two, but still very impressive. And they have even more wrapped right round there. Here we are up close and personal with all this. Once again, my apologies for the drilling noises in the background. Once again, they are being absolute rubble makers. That being said, this touch tilt for effect is coming to an end because we need to be continuing this way toward the train station. Wow, would you look at that, but more importantly what this means is that I've finally made it back here at Lincoln. As you can tell during my pan, we're going to start walking up without further ado. It seems as though the weather has changed up a little bit on the train journey down, but if we're hasty we can still make it to CX because we did make good time on the trains. For, you know, it's still only 3 o'clock, might not look it, but that's summer weather here in the UK for you. But just to prove now, leaving the train station, there is obviously our train symbol we're always looking for when we find these places. So naturally we're going to continue heading towards this road so I can take a little bit more of a scenic route, even one that's a little less familiar, but safety should always come first. So it's time to smash that button right there, like you should smash the subscribe button down below. Ah, classical everyman puns. This one doesn't even seem that impressive from afar. In fact, you might even ask, where is the pun? Where it's Downton is where it is, because the new Downton Abbey sequel came out. So come Downton to for Everyman and watch Doctor Strange 2. You see, it barely even makes sense here. Plus they also incorporated the 12A into it. So we've came to the end of that there street, and it's time for me to pan around. You can check out a lot of local business along the way, I suppose, but man, I love this road because even more importantly, yeah, it leads to our next destination, which is going to be all the way up there. You can tell even more so thanks to my awesome zooming in skills right now, so let's go check it out. This place seems to have seen better days, as has this pole, because the paint is peeling away, but let's pull our focus to them glorious floor patterns as per the norm. Yeah, it's game time for the Dutch tilt for added effect. Now we have a pigeon flying through, and that massive statue point is the centre looks gorgeous for red and yellow gates. At least there's a sharp colour contrast, I suppose, but we're going to be continuing towards that bridge right now. It has finally became time for a tracking shot of my feet as we head down for the final stairs of this bridge and continue right past the witch and the wardrobe to follow all of the yellow paint. This reminds me of Horizon Zero Dawn and its parkour all over again. Welcome to Lincoln. Yeah, a bit late that day. I've been living there for a couple of years now. Looks like we're heading down Bank Street, and I wonder what we might find along the way. Okay, now this is just straight up cool. Unfortunately, there is an awful lot of empty space. I suppose that's all part of the artistic flair behind this piece. You know, the swan, the umbrella, and obviously the empty space. Arguably the best part. I mean, there is a lot of it, so I would emphasise just how good it is in the first place for there to be a lot of it there. Took a left at the end of Bank Street, wound up coming out right around here towards obviously the post office and that west at the end of the street, so prepare yourselves to see this again in the future. This is rather familiar, but we'll take a right and check out what CX has to offer, given it will still be open by now. Yeah, these things are just in great condition as always, but sarcasm aside, we have at least made it to CEX, so I can't wait to go inside and check out what we got. Right off the bat here, this collection is incredible. You got vehicles right at the front there, including the legendary Sunrunner no less. An in-box starter pack for Skylanders Imaginators from the PlayStation 3. You don't see them around all too often. All the packaging seems to be destroyed for those starter packs these days. Regardless, you've got Jawbreaker, Chopper, Mega Ram Spyro, and as we zoom in close, there's even a Copacabra, a Food Fight, Mechanoid would be proud. Double T-Rexes for good measure, and just an army of swarms back there. Golden Queen hat also seems to be seeping through. You've got Gusto as we zoom in closer, Kingpin and Golden Queen, you know, very starter pack heavy characters. Fat Rider seems to be tipped over, unfortunately. Apparently wasn't riding too good on this day, but it's also a shortcut. This Spyro's eye seems to have seen better days, but regardless, it's just so much here. It's magnificent, because that, my friends, is for the selection in its entirety. Typical look, ain't it? Come out of CEX and it's raining on my way back home. You can't really tell unless I focus in on that puddle with the drips coming from the sky. Yeah, water coming from the sky is pretty much the definition of rain, and that right there is the UK weather for you. Looks like I've finally made it back here to Lincoln. Whilst it's raining outside, and truly the only benefit to rain is that some cinematic masters like yours truly can create magnificent shots like that you see up there. That was taken from Steep Hill, just moments away from where I live, so naturally there is some beauty behind the rain, it being that. But that's about where the awesomeness of rain begins and ends for me. That being said, if this is far from the end of this here clip, I want to do something far more special than just checking out Nottingham and Lincoln for the 40th episode. So naturally, I'll see you in a couple of months' time where no doubt me and Luke will have devised a plan to go travelling to somewhere or another. So I'll see you in a couple of months' time.
4 to 6 weeks later.
So several months later, in fact it's a release of a certain Forbidden West months later, and I have right by my Tremetor statue yet another awesome statue, Scarlet and Genie. They all reside by my bed alongside my smashed up phone. This is obviously the one I used to record with, but as you're about to see, that crack renders it practically unusable. In fact, my phone doesn't even want to focus in on it in fear that it will jinx it, I suppose. So naturally, the rest of this video is going to be recorded on my brand new Samsung Galaxy S10e. I just felt like it was an interesting story how my old phone got smashed up, and now instead I'm left with one less phone, but in the process I did also gain, again, an awesome Tremetor statue and a Scarlet and Genie, which I've had for years now, but she is one hell of an awesome variant. Like, seriously, look at this gloriousness. It's detailed, the colour contrast is sharp and really eye-catching, so couldn't be more pleased with that variant, and you could say the same for Tremetor up there. Hopefully for once my green screen effect has decided that it actually wants to work with me rather than against me, despite the fact that this hair currently seems to be conducting social distancing, and so this strand is going to have a bit of a green tint to it. Naturally that's just how a green screen goes from time to time, but putting all of that aside, it is time to introduce what the video shall entail from here on out. Now, I created a poll a few weeks back asking you which of the 4 swappers would you prefer to see in a giveaway. Naturally, we're going to be heading to Doncaster today, and hopefully it's going to have as many Skylanders in store as what the site says it should have. Yeah, you can see me scrolling through all of those awesome Skylanders in stock now. But that leads us on to where me and Luke are going to be travelling. As promised, we are going to be taking a trip to none other than Doncaster this time around. That is quite a 40th special if I ever were to say so myself. And naturally, the Skylander that won the poll that I put out will be the Skylander that we will be hunting down in the remainder of this Skylanders vlogging episode. So I will see you outside this house, where I will have green screen no more. So as you can tell, I'm here heading down Beaumont Fee as we speak. That's actually the remnants of an old police station. It's looking a little overrun by nature right now, but here at the bottom we have a tree that's finally decided to blossom here at April, so naturally it looks absolutely gorgeous. Just the pink, it's very vibrant, very contrasting to the rest of the world, I suppose. So yes, the beauty of that cherry blossom tree is magnificent, and it leaves behind little pink petals everywhere too. You can imagine the wind would carry them up the hill and all sorts. This here is just one of those side streets that leads inevitably back to the main town centre-esque area, which we will, more importantly, find ourselves one CEX, and that's going to be awesome. It starts with just some tiles, but then we get to pull our focus onto the glorious CEX. So for weeks since we last saw this collection, it certainly has grown. We now have a legendary Astro Blast and an Enigma straight in the face right off the bat, but more impressively in this top left hand corner you got Nightlight, Crypt King, even more swarms because Lincoln never seems to be in shortage of those. But going backwards here we got Jawbreaker, Gusto, Winterfest Lobstar, so not the regular one into this Christmas iteration. Zooming in you got Cobra Cadabra still, seems like they didn't sell him the last time, but there's also a Ghost Roaster back there, a Spitfire for the Starter Pack representatives. Mega Ram Spyro still seems to be hanging around, but so is turbo jetpack or full blast jetpack. One of the jetpacks, and point is all the jetpacks suck, so the jetpacks don't sell all the same. And there's also a Fright Rider who's not tipped over this time, a Funny Bone, a Dive Clops, another Ninjini, but that sword seems a little too bent for my liking. There's also Dr. Neo Cortex back there, so definitely a fun and varied selection to say the least. This right here is going to be one magnificent arch as always. Regardless, it would appear that Doncaster, in terms of its Skylanders collection, has a lot of competition to live up to. So we'll check off that box when we get there, but for now it's time for me to continue heading through the town centre, that is, to get to the train station. That's an interesting way to advertise a business. I miss it when game stores are like that, despite how blurry this one is, just me as a game all the same, but regardless, I miss the times when you used to be able to go into those stores and find massive Skylander sections. Those were always so awesome to look at, all their promotional pieces and everything. Regardless of all that, I'm going to zoom back out so you can observe that we're just continuing to head up to the town centre some more. Not going to worry about no Starbucks because I'm not the largest fan of hot drinks, and I don't need waking up. I had 2 boiled eggs already, and I love me some boiled eggs. One of my favourite things about Lincoln is its blend of for old stuff, for retro stuff you could go as far to say, with modernisation. So here we have some very modern art decorating some very old style phone booths. In fact, even the phones inside are more modern than what you used to see. So yeah, very interesting phone booths right here, especially for Lincoln one. Loving that design. You got some railway tracks up there, but we'll be seeing them from a different angle later on, and I can assure you that. Regardless, we're going to zoom back out as I turn around and show you that we've reached the end of the town centre-esque area here. The cathedral in the background and all sorts, it always looks glorious. The fact that you can see it from any angle too really magnifies its scope, and there's just so much amount of detail to it, which, you know, if we went back and checked out previous Skylander vlogging videos, you could see that up close and personal. But enough of a self-promotion much. We're going to be heading towards the train station, which is further up that way right now, and I'm loving this greenery I'm right next to. Wow, all of these ones seem to be tucked away. Oh, now this is a miracle. He seems to be here waiting for me. This hardly ever happens. Luke hardly ever beats me anywhere, so what do you say we go up and say hello?
One eternity later.
Hi. Hi.
How are you?
That was meant to be a double tap, but I did terrible double tap in it. Luckily we're not in Zombieland, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got the double thumbs up and all sorts, and framing to the right, because forget traditional centre framing.
Exactly.
That's totally not triggering for cinematic nerd over here, or cinematography nerd even.
Yeah.
How about we get trains to this ticket? Trains to this ticket? Yeah. Let's get the trains to a ticket that doesn't arrive for another half an hour, because we're really in a rush, aren't we, Luke? Yeah. And I was just saying earlier when I was up there, so you strolling over, it's a miracle you beat me. Are you feeling alright?
Yeah, I'm going to.
Before I set sail on this journey, I had better make sure that I'm taking the right Luke with me.
Exactly.
I mean, who are you and what you doing with Luke to be as early as this?
I don't know.
That guy just waved to the camera, huh?
Oh wow.
Yeah, welcome to the vlog. Regardless, my breakfast this morning was jam on toast with some boiled eggs. Your favourite?
I had some leftover spiced cook.
Ooh. I had
which
some
was-
spicy chicken carne last night. Why are we talking about food? What has this become?
It was slow cooked as well.
Yeah, all that being said, I'm wide awake, so let's get to it.
Doncaster is not a city. Apparently also it's Scottish because we gave it to the Scots 900 years ago and never claimed it back.
Well then,
Yeah.
the more you know. Coughing away, are ya? Anyway, as you can tell, we're on the edge of glory right now, and when I said we was going to see the railway crossing from a different angle over here, that's what I meant. Anyway, this is my first time recording on my new phone for S10e. It's turning out not bad so far.
Yeah, it is of course like the lower end model, but it's still a good phone.
I'm just hoping the audio is capturing okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a slight issue with my mic when the update came in. There's like a weird clipping. It does the first shot every day when I reboot the phone, but since I've not turned it off, the audio is fine now, so I should be fine for the whole trip.
Nice. You've already talked about Doncaster, but what about your excitement travelling towards it? You needed this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been stuck in Lincoln for God knows how long now, since Feb. and I've not been able to travel, and then money shortages happened, and like, I can't see family. Well, I saw family because I got a lift.
You saw them for all of the day?
Yeah, I saw them because I got a lift.
But unfortunately, your trip was cut short even.
Yeah,
or should I say shortcut?
It was cut short on a shortcut because, you know, circumstances.
Did you get the reference? See?
Scrap shooter, see?
Well, that was Scrap Shooter. The first one was a Trap Master. That could easily beat Scrap Shooter in a fight because Shortcut's a badass.
But yeah, just having a day out again with this guy is epic.
So is the voice shot now. This is epic. So this countryside right here is absolutely gorgeous, and I decided to give Luke the best of ideas to capture some B-roll.
What can I say except you're welcome?
And now we're making another countryside shot because I felt like it. Plenty of farmland around here, it seems. We're definitely in a small town-esque area. We're passing straight through with great speed. One of the main reasons I love travelling by train is the sense of speed, wouldn't you agree? That was a nice chin shot right there, as you have nothing to react to with my words that I have said. My mouth was open, words came out, and yet still you remain responseless. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So we just got off a train here at Doncaster, and these are the first visuals we get to greet us. But hey, as always, Doncaster is moored in its station, so we can't wait to explore it further. Also, behind us right here is this fancy building. It looks like some sort of factory or industry type area, but it's a cool building all the same. So there is the awesome train station, and awesome to a lesser extent is also Luke.
Yes.
Anyway, Sheffield, up until this moment, has been the most impressed I've been of a place walking straight out of a train station. Sheffield was gorgeous and had the huge monument, but as Luke gestured, this somehow tops it. This is gorgeous. You have the monuments, first of all, and then you have the artwork by the Sainsbury's up there. Luke probably hasn't even noticed that, but it's so detailed and brilliant. Except for that building, that's looking a little weathered down and old, but sometimes old is good. Unless it's the name of a movie, in which case it's very bad. You gotta love the power of many fountains, and it's in a triangle shape too, which is like the most satisfying shape, especially for Legend of Zelda fans, where the whole logo thing is literally just 3 of these. I was talking about how awesome the Triforce is in Legend of Zelda.
Oh yeah.
And say it's just a triangle. That being said, there's also greenery over there, so that, my friends, is what makes this a perfect introduction to Doncaster. Oh my god, the art continues, as well as the bus's blocking centre, because that is just accustomed to anywhere we go, isn't it?
Plus the road is actually in good nick.
Now I was saying it's just absolute because he was spoiling about the places that we're looking forward to visiting here in Doncaster, like...
From what I know, there's an art gallery and a cathedral, so expect to see at least the outside of both.
Yeah, baby! So we might be at Doncaster right now, but that hasn't stopped me and Luke talk about our love for Lincoln.
Yeah, we love it.
Double L's for alliteration. Regardless, Luke did notice here at the King's Arcade for greenery. I'm not even going to get my hopes up because that is not a video game arcade. It is a supermarket arcade in the fact that there's a bunch of stores around and no video games. So whilst I am sad about the lack of video games, it's still cool to have an arcade around here all the same. We've found a pub already. Luke had only one response to that.
Hell yeah.
Well, perfect is what he said specifically. As you can see right there, we have awesome floor patterns, which I always love to look out for. And then right here we have a building that reminds me of a corner house at Nottingham.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I have no problems with that whatsoever, because you know me and my love for cinema. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a cinema here. Here specifically, there is going to be one at Doncaster somewhere.
Most likely.
But we're approaching more of the town centre. You can tell from the noise over there. Loud enough for you? No. There's a Greg's back there, don't tell Luke. You can still hear plenty of noise, not only coming from this right here, but there's a sculpture right next to it with a preacher who unfortunately can barely be heard over all the roadworks happening. But more importantly, in that direction is our beloved destination, CEX. You can barely see the blurred sign up there, but we're going to check that out next and see what they got. Right, so we have a church up here. We've came down the road a little bit. You can still hear the roadworks, so noise pollution wise it's not the finest, but case in point, opposite to the church is that CEX we was alluding to earlier, so I cannot wait to check it out all the same. And then there's also more side streets around here. Very odd to see a CX without no gaming inside though. Usually if they're right next to each other, like in York. There's Luke again back there, but there was a game store back here actually. It's computer games up there, and their prices were pretty standard, eh?
Yeah, I mean, they had a really good search in Switch time.
Oh yeah, Luke learned something about a certain particular character who's actually on Switch that you didn't know about. Exactly. The more you know. Anyway, CX without further ado. So tucked away in the corner over here seems to be their Skylander section. It's very lackluster, unfortunately. They only seem to have out characters that are the more expensive or more popular ones, like Eyeball is incredibly popular on their side, so it's Gusto up there. Though this one seems to be a business boomerang. How very disappointing that is. And then on top of that, they also have the Senseis and the Trackmasters, which are obviously expensive, like Enigma for an entire £18 up there. Bad Juju isn't any better. But there you are with Doncaster's selection. Nothing in comparison with Lincoln. Nothing, I tell you. As you can tell, Luke's just going up the stairs where all the film and TV can be found. I'm just back here because you can actually observe all the Skylanders tucked away in the corner and see just how tiny the section is in context. That is once things want to focus, mind you. Yeah, that's just for bright light coming from the outside for you. Lighting isn't the greatest, unfortunately, but let's check out the film and TV without further ado. And then here's for more retro game systems for GameCube and the Xbox and all that. Two competitors of their generation, even though the Xbox didn't last long because its predecessor came out only 5 years later. That being said, as you can tell, the section up here of all the DVDs just as big and just as loud because the speaker is right up there for you. Thank heavens it's not copyrighted music for once. So leaving CX now, I've had some of the best customer service because all the Skylanders that weren't on display they had in boxes like most CXs do, and the staff were kind enough to let me take some photos. So you'll see them on screen now, better than his face, am I right?
I know, right?
But yeah, those photos we'll analyse and we'll zoom in upon later because there is some really interesting stuff in there, including the Crypt King. A little bit too expensive just for the sake of the giveaway, plus I'm keeping the giveaway Swap Force themed because the Skylander I did get, which isn't in any of the photos because I'd already bought it at the time, and it's not Loughborough, unfortunately, spoiler alert, so you'll see that later in the video as well. But he's going to be giving away the Swap Force finale that me and Luke are going to be conducting live shortly after this video goes up.
Hell yeah.
I'm roping him into something that I did not prepare him for, so...
No, you did not.
That reaction there, very real, shall we put it. Whoa, 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 let's just pause for video here before I continue to talk and spoil who it is that I'm giving away this video. Oh wait, I've done that already. We know that Stink Bomb has been given away, but who the winner is yet to be determined. So how's about I shut up and we cut ahead to see who that winner shall be. Okay, it's about time I reveal to you that the swapper we actually wound up finding in stock at Doncaster was none other than Stink Bomb, so he wound up becoming the character for the giveaway. Now I'm interjecting this halfway into the edit, so naturally you can see me editing as I go along, but that's not what you're here for. You're here to find out who the winner is. So without further ado, allow us to pick a random name, as we noticed that Scarlet and Genie is here in the background also. She just can't seem to get enough of making cameos in this here vlogging video, it seems. Regardless, our winner, and those were the 10 names as were requested by the live stream in which we gave away this Stink Bomb, so everyone had a 1 in 10 chance. It was all even odds. But without further ado, our winner is Kevin Rees. Massive congratulations to you. I sincerely hope that this Stink Bomb is about to go to a passionate and loving home. Be sure to send me your shipping details to anything that you see on screen currently, and I await you and your claiming of the prize in front of your very eyes. Not her though, she's mine, so just pretend she's not there. Because I can't think of a better word for it.
I'll still pot it.
Now we are stuck here because there is a tree directly in front of us that I do not want to walk into.
Oh.
Luke, if you're so adamant, why don't you walk into the damn thing?
There.
Are you satisfied now?
Yes.
Good, we've purged this urgency. That was a very interesting literary choice there, I will admit. I'll pat myself on the back for that. So you got the floor patterns once again, pretty standard town stuff, but gorgeous town stuff at that, besides of course for litter, but you find that anywhere. And now naturally we've came through the Priory Walk down to the High Street. Are we going to stop here?
I'm doing that as well. Way.
That's not what I asked, but okay. With
random.
more sugar than bun.
Man, yeah, why is there just a hot cross bun there? But yeah, we're on the high street now.
Look at the colour of those.
And yeah, that's
rusted teal though. It's clearly rusted away, but it's rusted away to much nicer colour than it was originally, ironically enough.
very true, my friend. And yeah, it does look very cool.
Definitely looking this clip both ways, like 50% of me anyway.
Thief.
Dutch tilt for effect right now. You have Lloyd's right in the top left-hand corner, as well as, ironically, the corner house. It's not actually called the corner house, unlike Nottingham, but this is going to be the other side of it. There is a street between the last place where we would have seen it. So, yeah. Other than that, there's also, as you can tell, the little teacup machine for the 3-year-olds. So, perfect for Luke's demographic.
Exactly.
I'm kidding, you wouldn't even fit the teacup, mate.
I know, I wouldn't.
So yeah, that's the end of this awesome Dutch tilt for you. Honey, let's save the bees! You can't even see my mouth speaking right now because my phone is covering it up on the mirror. I almost call the mirror a camera then. In what universe is that a camera?
There's two ignites.
There's too many ignites. Like, I could film you filming this and then there would be 3 ignites.
Oh gosh, oh no, I'm gone.
He's out of there. Bit out of season, that one. So here we are, top floor for French Gate. You can see the name of the little supermarket gathering at the top of those banners up there. I'll have a circle inserted in the edit because I'm good at editing like that. Despite his name, that bird right there is not wowing me.
No, it should be like a quadruple patty roll.
What's funny though is that normally they exaggerate the photos to make them look exquisite when they're just really lackluster foods. They can't even exaggerate the photos to make it look good.
No.
Loving this right now. Okay, so we've looped around right here. Hello again, you. And what we're going to do next is we're going to go in for a few drinks for Poundland, which we saw at the start of this 360. So yeah, let's go and get some coolness. So we're currently in the centre of Doncaster town centre. Centreception. Centre within the centre.
Yes.
I didn't need to explain the deception, but here we have hammers and plenty of hats. But the question is, do you think that's enough hats? We continue to head in this direction because we're going to the cathedral next, so hopefully it winds up being gorgeous as the Lincoln Cathedral we saw a glimpse of earlier. I mean, it's going to be tough to top the Lincoln Cathedral, but if it comes anywhere close, I will be pretty impressed. For every naive child currently watching, someone spray painted a rocket ship on here. For everyone else, you know exactly what that is. Turns out the cathedral was much closer than we was expecting because it is right here underneath the gorgeous blue sky, clouds and all, and say, it's definitely a magnificent piece of architecture to admire. Not nearly as big as one at Lincoln, of course. And you can't see it from as many miles because the Lincoln one's not only big, it's also atop a very steep hill that gives it even more elevation above like the normal ground, you could say, ground level even. I had to stop Luke on his exposition rants because he has something interesting about this here cathedral.
So initially the cathedral was from the 1100s, which is a good 900 years ago, but it was actually burned down in a fire in like the 1850s. So this building is like 160 to 70 years old. It's not unfortunately as old as the prior building, but hey ho, interesting fact.
It is. What's also interesting is the cinematography right now. Wow. That is hilarious. These people are just so funny, my sights are split in. That being said, going back to my cinematography here, in the reflection of this here store, the Primark, you have the cathedral still. His sides are actually split in. I was being sarcastic, but you know.
I hope I caught that. I hope I caught that.
Well, I know I did, just with the camera facing the other way, looking for that prick. So right here we have the market with the magnificent smell of fresh veg. And you know what? Magnificent is a perfect description for a smell.
Exactly.
If you were to ever describe a smell, then if you did anything other than magnificent, then your description of a smell just kind of, you know, pales in comparison to mine, because that's how it works. I don't make up the rules, I just reinforce them, and there's the market once more. You're welcome. We have a quaint little centre here with all the birds, the colourful trees over there, more of the market, lots of dog posters up there, but more importantly is the balloon arch with all its different colours and all the multicoloured benches right next to it. That's why I call it quaint and beautiful, because I love me some nice quiet and some colour thrown in there too, for good measure.
It is a nice area as well as a whole. It's quite pretty.
Not going to screw you there, mate. We found one hell of an awesome bar theme tucked out of the way. Unfortunately, our art museum is closed, so we're going to enjoy drinking here instead. We seem to be going through this ram archway right now. Wow. Well, it's not just a ram, that's on the right. On the left is a pig by the looks of it.
Wow!
Yes, wow. And that's a ram, not a sheep, because it has horns. That's where the difference comes in. It is wow, because this means I can reference Skylanders in this Skylanders vlog episode.
Wow!
There's such a thing as a mega ram Spyro with horns similar to that up there. Wow. Also, I'm loving the little incarnations on this right now. It's like a cylinder with pots and pans.
Wow!
Are you ever going to say something other than wow?
Wow!
That's your answer. Wow, no, that's absolutely gorgeous. Damn it, now I'm doing it with the wows. But I'll tell you what, Owen Wilson would be proud. So now it's time for some little facts about that bar we was just at, the Queen. Go ahead, my friend.
Okay, so the main thing which I was speaking to the bartender about is the jukebox. So they used to have an old one, but now they've got a modern version because people like to, you know, stream songs than rather using records. And they also do different themes, which is quite cool actually. And I'm pretty sure Ignite got a few clips. The bar also looked really cool.
In a physical world, we're not so physical in media anymore.
I know, right?
I could punch this guy. I couldn't use the DVD to punch him because they hate releasing those. You just like get on digital these days.
Exactly.
And the other thing, or was that the all the things?
I think that was one of it.
There you go, that was all of it. What seems at first to be just a pole actually turns out to be the start of a residential area out here. But I love all these buildings. There's one side that's mostly white and then the other side is brown with lots of old brickwork. It's just a really nice sharp colour contrast that creates a more visually appealing street. Luke just said that this is quite cool. I am inclined to agree with him, so let's do that. Yeah, the PNG of this food looks fresh alright. What do you think now? It is very pink, it reminds me of but Skylander did a great job replicating it with one of his customs. They always look amazing. Enough of praising Skylander though, I'm going to praise the fact that now we see the cathedral again. Off in the distance, it's that mesmerising Union Jack once again. Would you look at that pattern right there? Once again, Doncaster just has so many little increments scattered about its many architectural buildings that it looks visually impressive. You cannot deny the beauty found in that. And then you can walk along more of the cobblestone here and find them all along the walls over here. And the top of the walls is just more of the market, it seems. But yeah, say gorgeous all the same. And these right here, these lights, despite being cracked, they still light up, allowing for cars to easily make their way along the road when it gets dark. Me and Luke are really excited to check out the Coltman collectibles. Lots of old style memorabilia from for several world wars and all that. Medals, just everything that could possibly look awesome from history, I guess. Yeah. Everything around me has reminded me of Coco. First we had Queen with all of like the Coco aesthetics behind it, or at least if it reminded me of the film. And now we have the literal name of a nightclub right by us. Also from that little collector's store, I managed to treat Luke to a little Roman coin.
Ew, I'm so happy.
Exactly, money to me is no object. So long as said money can pay for happiness, then there's no putting a value on a smile like that.
I'm so happy.
And I couldn't be happier for him. I was very satisfied with a house-made curry sauce, some of the best I've had, very flaky. But unfortunately, despite it being for the spicy flavour, it wasn't very spicy. And now I have hair in my mouth, so big rib. Not really, no. It pales in comparison to those fish and chips.
Oh yeah, those are really good.
Okay, as you can tell, we're back at the Doncaster train station. We have these awesome monuments for water, singular, triforce of power, I guess. I don't really know, to be honest. I'm going to be Master Yawn in a minute. I'm feeling a bit tired. Today's been exhausting, but also absolutely brilliant. He's laughing because he agrees. So that being said, we'll see you on the station itself. Forgot to take a clip on the actual Doncaster station itself until we got on the bloody train. So we're going to terminate at Newark Northgate and find ourselves for the rest of the way towards Lincoln. See you there. I am uncomfortably close to my backpack right now. That being said, countering speed, nothing wrong with that. Here we are then, the third platform of Newark Northgate, just waiting on the Lincoln train now. So there's a quick sneak peek of all of, obviously, the platforms here at Northgate, which you saw earlier, and you heard Lou tweet even. But that being said, this will have to be a destination for another day. Made it back to the Lincoln Station at top of the bridge right now, where there's lots of cross-hatching for everyone's safety, I guess. Gonna flicker over to the other side to soak in that view, I guess. And we are literally, as it will turn out, back to where we started a few hours ago. Or at least it was a few hours for us. For you guys, it's been all of 20 minutes. Wow, my phone is looking low on battery.
Mine's also very low.
That being said, our phone's not the only thing that's low on batteries right now, as are we.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're leaving Luke here, but not without his coin he got from that Collectman shop.
Yes. Thank you, kind sir.
Ah, no worries. And when he gets back, he's going to create a clip exclusively for us, showcasing it in person, in detail. It's going to be glorious because it's a great damn coin.
It is.
It's small, it's tiny, and it seems like something that's not worth 20 quid. To this guy, it is.
Oh, to me it is, yeah. And you'll see why.
So me and Luke have officially parted ways, and I find myself under the arch I typically find myself under, actually. We got a bin. Yeah, that's what this episode has resorted to, but I do need to take out some cash quickly, and luckily that's what we got the NatWest Bank for. So I'm going to get to that and get straight home, where I can finally reveal what substitute for Rubble Rouser I got for the giveaway. So I'm actually recording this part of the outro several weeks later, because after I got to NatWest and started using for ATM, a certain problem arose, but I do get a good story out of my misfortune, and we're going to get into that once we begin the gameplay portion of this here outro, so let's get to it. Okay, it's officially story time now that the gameplay has begun. So when I went to NatWest to utilise one of the ATMs and get some cash withdrawn so I could set it to one side, not need to take money out of my bank account, and just naturally have it so that if I ever got in trouble with bills and all that, I had the money set aside that I could redeposit into my account at any point I wished. That was the plan anyway, but little did I know that this little here ATM, it was hungry that day. It hadn't had its dinner yet, so it gobbled up my card. Yeah, that's right, the machine, the official term for it, is swallowed my card for no good reason whatsoever, and I know the card was fine because I used an ATM earlier that same day, so there was nothing wrong with my card. The ATM machine, it was just hungry, what can you say? So my card got ate, and I got thrown into a state of absolute panic because obviously I didn't have no credit card, and I didn't have the cash that was meant to be deposited to me neither, and the money was still taken out of my account, so now I'm down 220 quid because they took the money out of my account and I never got the cash that was supposed to be given to me from it all. So naturally this misconduct of service should have been repaid to me by now, but here I am 10 days later still waiting on this dispute to be filed to NatWest, so I'll have updates of this in future, but I am sincerely hoping I get the money back because 220 quid is a lot of money to lose otherwise. Never am I ever taking out such a large amount from an ATM ever again, I'll tell you that much. But now what we're going to do is, to conclude the episode, we're going to take a look back at those photos of the tubs of Skylanders from CX themselves, and we're going to zoom in and analyse the photos fully, see what Skylanders are secretly lying in wait to be checked out. So this first box isn't the utmost interesting. This one mainly had Disney Infinity type stuff in it, so you can see like a Chewbacca or a Baymax, a very impressive Hulkbuster figurine there, and obviously you also have Thor from Marvel as well, and Merida, but we're here for Skylanders, and in that case it doesn't disappoint too much neither, because you got a Kingpin, you got two of them in fact, because there's one down below as well, but there's also Wallop, Crypt King most obviously, and not one, not even two Food Fights, as you can tell from the top corner right there, but if you zoom in even further, hiding behind Wallop is yet another food fight. So once again, Mike and Lloyd would be proud to see all this many food fights on display. In fact, that might even be 4 food fights there, because there's 2 hidden underneath Wallop by the looks of it. And now here we are with a second tub. Right out of the corner of one's eyes, you can actually see for package and Stink Bombs Ninja Star, that was sort of very much for purchase I made on behalf of the giveaway. But going back to box at hand, once again it is mostly Disney Infinity stuff, but they do have that Air Creation Crystal. They have a tough look in pretty good condition. If Ember's swords aren't particularly bent too heavily this time. You can see the base of Swarm actually, and then there's also T-Rex's head right by Swarm's butt. Haha, funny butt joke. Anyway, there's a fire base down there, that's for one of the fire swappers. I believe it looks like blast zones, but it's hard to tell from the base alone. There's even a red tech base here, but it's small enough to be a mini, so it's no doubt Drobit because we saw him listed when we went through the Doncaster stocks earlier. Apart from that, if we zoom back out, there's once again more Kingpins, more Golden Queens, lots of star pack characters. In the corner there's that eyeball hidden, you can tell from the fist and the eyeball itself. Then going back here there's actually Jawbreaker's fist right there by obviously Link's horse and Leia up there. And so that begs the question, are there any more Skylanders? Well yes, there's actually a Skylander and Amiibo mix up right here with Hammer Slam Bowser, who's missing the top of his hammer unfortunately. But yes, that pretty much does it for Skylanders in this box. It's a glorious box and a more fulfilling box than the last one, needless to say. But yes, we've checked that out in great detail. And let's not also forget about this T-Rex base hidden below Kingpin. I thought I noticed something that caught my eye there, like another orange-based life character. But that would very much be T-Rex, all the same. He's staring us down, as you can see. But enough of this, let's conclude the video without further ado. With that being said and done, this video is coming to an end, and I want to thank you all so much for watching. By merely clicking on this video, you've shown support and helped it garner recognition so it can reach many of the viewers here on YouTube. I'd love to see you take the extra step and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Also be sure to comment below, hit that subscribe button whilst you're down there. By clicking elsewhere on screen, you can either check out a video that's specifically picked out for you, or you can check out the rest of the playlist for the series you just watched. Before ending off, I'd like to thank all of my Blazing Knights and Scorching Dragons whose support help make these videos possible. I'll be seeing you in the next video, and until that moment arises, peace!